Welcome to Open Forum.
Yes, evening, Brother Kevin. How you doing?
Very well, thank you.
Yes. Can you please turn to Matthew chapter 24, verse 22?
Matthew 24, verse 22. Let's look at that. Matthew 24, verse 22, we read, "And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake those days shall be shortened." Now, what is your question?
What does it mean, those days? How are those days shortened? What does that mean?
Well, this is a very good question, and I'll tell you, I struggled a long time with this, and it's what got me into trouble when I wrote the book 1994, because this is the verse that I didn't understand. The fact is that God talks about a great tribulation that would go on for 8,400 days, which is exactly a full 23 years. And it starts out, the first 23 days, 2,300 days, there's virtually no one being saved anywhere in the whole world, in the churches or anywhere. And so that's the way it began, the Great Tribulation, and if it would continue that way all the way to the end of the 8,400 days, then it would mean that any babies that were born during that 8,400 days would have absolutely no possibility of having become saved, and it would and there would be there's a great many people born in that final 17 years, approximately 17 years. And so for the sake of those that God still had to save, because they were elected by God from before the foundation of the earth to be included in the saved, God shortened the 8,400 days to 2,300 days, and then he began the plan of salvation again, a great multitude that we read about in Revelation 7, a large crowd that still were to become saved during that final 17 years. And that is what is in view here in those days being shortened, the days of the awful situation that prevailed the first 2,300 years of the 23-year period of the Great Tribulation. And that's what got me into trouble in 1994, because I assumed that the 23-year period would be shortened to 2,300 days, and that landed in 1994, and I did not understand at that time there was still a salvation plan, an ingathering that God still had to do. And but I knew that the end would have to ordinarily deal with 2011. And then later on, I understood that accurately.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you for calling and sharing.